nationality.
If you smell,
I am a real American.
On this episode, join Andy and John on their journey home from Unsanctioned Pro 8 Ignorant in Hilliard, Ohio. Welcome to the road home from wrestling.
Here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock on my doors. It's the only way to live in cars. Here in my car, I can only receive. I can listen to you.
All right, we're headed home from another week at Unsanctioned Pro. My name's Andy, coming to you live to tape for the second time today from the road home from Wrestling World, mobile headquarters of the world, and I got John in the front seat. What's up, John?
Guys, we saw a lot of wrestling matches tonight and today, and they were all spectacular. Honestly, from the start of the day to now, I cannot think of really one bad moment of the day.
I am so fucked up on wrestling right now, like someone might be on drugs or something. We're high as fuck on wrestling, and that's what happens. It's a safe way to get high, for us, not for the wrestlers necessarily, because good lord, there was some insane hardcore shit we just witnessed. Goddamn. So, as we're walking out of Unsanctioned Pro, by the way, we went to Unsanctioned Pro 8, the show is called Ignorant, and this was up in Hilliard, Ohio. And we'll briefly explain, how we got to Hilliard, Ohio versus Columbus, Ohio here in a second. But I asked John on the way out, and I said, was that better than the last Unsanctioned Pro? And you just said, how did they do it? How did they do it? How did they keep doing this, right?
I don't know how they do it. Literally, they top themselves every single show.
Unbelievable.
And it's, I don't know.
In the middle of this show, we had a match that we did not think could be topped, period. And it was. It was topped by the main event. So,
yeah.
It's just, and there were awesome stuff that was up to that same level. Incredible night. Unbelievable. So, John, tell us real quick. I know we already talked about this. If you haven't listened to the OWA episode from earlier today, we also went to OWA that was in the same building earlier. But tell, real quick recap, John, for us, how we got to this building versus the original setup and all that shit.
Yeah, so originally this show was supposed to be part of a doubleheader deal at the Big Bar in downtown Columbus, but there was new management, and so, UP and OWA had to scramble last minute to find a new venue, and what they were able to come up with was a barn, pretty much, in, Franklin?
We're in Hilliard, Ohio, so Franklin County.
Franklin Fairgrounds, I believe.
Yeah, Franklin County Fairgrounds is where we're at.
So it was essentially in, this big metal barn type place that they probably do a lot of livestock shows and pet goats.
Yeah, it's concrete floor, steel ceiling, steel walls. If this didn't have a ceiling, it would technically be a barn. I don't consider it a barn because barns don't have ceilings; they only have rafters. That's how you tell a barn from not a barn. But
education first.
We are an education first podcast, and if you're a new listener to the Road Home from Wrestling, John, will you break down briefly for the folks who we are and what we do?
So essentially, what our gimmick is that we go to a lot of different indie shows around the Midwest, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, sometimes further, and we basically see shows, and then we take notes, keep track of the results, and then on the way home we kind of recap the event and give our opinions and our thoughts, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
On the road home, if you will, right?
Yes, and we are literally on the road home, these snowy roads of Columbus, Ohio, for you guys. We put our lives on the line for you guys.
Fuck off, John. After what we watched, that's offensive. You saying that? I'm just kidding. But, yeah, so we're the Road Home for Wrestling. We cover shit on the road home. So that's what we're doing, and hopefully we got some new listeners, and we met a few people tonight and hipped them to the show, so I'm hoping that we hear, some feedback from you guys. Just to hit the social media, you can always follow us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at The Road Home FW, and that's where you can find all things The Road Home from Wrestling, and we have almost 400 episodes, so that's like how many shows we go to, so, and that's over the past almost 4 years, so we've been around a long time at this point, and we're well-established kind of deal, and Unsanctioned Pro is our home. So it's not our home promotion necessarily, but it's one of the places that we do not miss shows. We go to every Unsanctioned Pro show, and we've been going ever since the very first one, and that will not stop unless I am dead. So,
or if Derek starts, doing one show a week, and that's just a lot of gas money.
Wow, I'll still fucking come up here. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I used to we went to Dayton every week and first Friday of the month, man, for 2 years, So, and before that, even longer. So, I'm a dedicated wrestling fan, and I'm here to tell you guys all about it. So, tonight, like I said, it was UP8. It was called Ignorance. And, Unsanctioned Pro is kind of a little more hardcore style than a lot of the other super indies that you see out there, maybe, and so tonight we got a good chunk of that. We got a lot of kind of hardcore types matches and stuff like that. John, you want to kind of set up the evening and we can start getting in this first match of the night?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, this was kind of a doubleheader show with OWA, and so earlier on their show, they crowned a number one contender for the UP Heavyweight Championship, and so we got that match tonight. But what we were all here for was the crowning of new tag team champions after, I think it was a 3-show arch.
I think so.
We got
yeah,
to the finals of the tag team tournament, and tonight we were going to crown new champions.
Yeah, there have been many, many different, tag teams that were in this tag team tournament. Came down to 3. We'll talk about that when we get to the main event. But also, just a real quick thing about Unsanctioned Pro, it's becoming a holiday. Like, Unsanctioned Pro Day is like a holiday, and even some of our listeners that aren't even in the same country as us are like, happy Unsanctioned Pro Day, like Joy from England is tweeting about happy Unsanctioned Pro Day. People are really starting to catch on to UP, and it's magic. Just a real quick diatribe, I'm sorry, I know we're going to run probably a little long tonight, but when I was younger, a couple years ago, we went to a couple different promotions, and I've been to promotions where magic is happening, where they're capturing lightning in a bottle, and it's a fragile thing. It's a thing that happens, but it doesn't necessarily happen for years at a time. Sometimes it's only 6 months. Sometimes it's only 2 months. Sometimes it's not that long at all. Unsanctioned Pro's been able to capture that now for over a year, and they did it again tonight. And man, I can't wait to talk about some of this. So I'm so happy. I don't know, John, where are we at?
I think we should just jump right into the action.
Let's do it.
Our opening contest was an elimination scramble match.
So Unsanctioned Pro typically kind of opens their show with some kind of scramble match. Elimination style is more kind of typically the way they do it, because that way one pin doesn't win the match. You know what I mean? It sucks when you come to see a particular wrestler, they're in a scramble match and they get pinned, or they don't get pinned, or they don't do the pinning, and all of a sudden they're just gone and that match is over and you don't even get to see them do their shit. So this is a way for everybody to get their shit in, and this was we had a huge surprise in this match. So tell us, who was in the match?
Our first competitor was Too Swole to Control, Clayton Gaines. He was real buff. Did you notice that?
I did.
Okay. The next competitor was probably the dumbest person on the roster.
Definitely.
The little too fast for indie wrestling right now. Needs to slow it down. Jordan Oliver.
Jordan Oliver, member of Young, Dumb, and Full of Cum.
Yes. Next competitor was Freddie Hudson.
Yeah, the shooter, Freddie Hudson, and Unsanctioned Pro. I love it.
Then we had MV Young.
That's right, making his triumphant return to Unsanctioned Pro.
Probably one of the top baby faces in the company, Levi Everett.
Oh my God. Levi Everett, the Mennonite megastar, was so fucking over in this match, man. really smart to lead off with a match with him in it, right? You know, we got a lot to talk about with Levi. We'll get into, but go ahead. Who else? Is in
Then
this?
we had Space Monkey.
Space Monkey's a fucking monkey for space.
But he had new attire on tonight.
That's
He had
right.
these really like soft rainbow. It was like a soft rainbow pant on.
It's a unicorn dreams on it, and we've seen those pants before, right, John?
Yeah.
There's a wrestler down in Cincinnati named Jesse Hyde, Fairfield's favorite son, and he wears those pants too. So, I mean, hey, if you're gonna be like somebody, you might as well be like a monkey from space or Fairfield's favorite son. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
he
great.
rocks.
You know, I bet you Jesse Hyde loves Space Monkey,
Probably.
so he would love him.
And then our last competitor was a surprise. Would you like to say his name? Because I do not know how to say it.
Ophidian! John, you don't know who Ophidian is, do you really?
I've seen him one time because there was a viral video that went viral.
Yes.
Where he was in a match and he started taming everyone by being like a serpent and, going back and forth and mesmerizing people.
He's the king of snake style. One of the Chikara trainers and wrestlers. And, Mike Quackenbush, friend of the podcast, he's been on a couple times. We love Mike Quackenbush. We love Chikara. And it was just a huge surprise. Ophidian's been making his triumphant return to indie wrestling. You know, he's kind of gone for a while. And, man, he is unique. Much like Space Monkey, he's a snake, right? And he does snake stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, the crowd was hissing at him and stuff. I mean, really cool.
He was slithering around,
man.
getting into the. And at one point, he kind of shed his skin.
He did.
He took his he took his over mask off and revealed another mask.
Well, his
underneath.
mask has a mask, you know.
Yeah.
And we have, you know who we have to thank for that? We have the fine young gentleman there at Headlocks and Hangovers. Check them out on Facebook. And, that is a video type podcast that's every Sunday afternoon by our friends Dom and I'm the worst. Check them out on Facebook. I can't remember everybody's name. I'm sorry. I'm like so stoned on wrestling right now. It's hard to remember anything. And I'm driving. And we're talking about everything. So those guys rule. And they sponsored Ophidian to come to this match. And that's really cool. Ophidian is... I mean, he's unique, and his offense is unique. It's all snake stuff, and it's the kind of thing that you've got to see in person to really, like, kind of understand. So it's a really cool opportunity to see him in person. I've never seen him before other than just in Chikara matches and stuff like that. So, all right, John. Now, I took the notes, and I didn't take, like, super detailed notes on every single match because we had to run for our lives a few times, and... sometimes I got caught watching, but I did get every single elimination and some of the stuff that happened at first. So feel free to throw in anything you remember. But what happened in this match, John?
So immediately, everyone wanted to watch Levi churn the butter. And he obliged. Him and Clayton were in the middle of the ring, and Levi, churned the butter. And then, being the nice guy that he is, he said, "Hey, Clayton, do you want to churn my butter?" And Clayton... he got close, snuck over, because he was a little taken aback. He was very surprised at how over Levi was, and he did not understand it.
It's amazing.
He gave so many dirty looks to, Levi, Ophidian, and Space Monkey. Like, what the hell? Why are these guys getting cheered and not me?
You're not wrestlers,
And so, Clayton goes over, and he grabs the handle, and he acts like he's going to do it, and he backs away. Grabs his dick and he says, "How about you churn this?"
He said, "Churn my balls." Or my nuts or something like that.
that.
I think that led to a churn his nuts chant from the crowd. Crowd was insane as usual, which is kind of one of the reasons why this show is so great. The crowd is fucking bonkers, So that was amazing. And Levi Everett got angry, right?
He did.
What did he do?
He just beat up Clayton.
Yeah.
He
good.
didn't churn his balls.
No.
Even though Clayton did seem to be open to it.
Yeah, I don't know. What else happened here?
So then things got a little slightly confusing. So for some reason, it's a scramble match, and usually everyone's in at the same time. But then we noticed that, 5 of the competitors are just standing on the outside of the ring, and then they start tagging other people out.
I think this is a contrivance that they made up just like, hey, you guys want to tag in? Somebody may have said that and we didn't quite hear it. And it's a way, I really like this actually. It's a way for 2 guys to work without us having to have everybody else just on the floor selling and burying themselves. So
Yeah.
I like that. That was actually pretty cool.
So those two tag out, and Space Monkey and Jordan Oliver come in, and they start running the ropes.
We
Jordan
get that good old shit, huh, John?
Jordan
Oh,
just
man.
being too fast for wrestling. Cornette would hate this.
Oh man, Cornette would have hated this show tonight, which is a good thing. So he can fuck off and stay in Louisville or wherever the fuck he lives. But
I just did a little go back. One of my favorite parts of this show tonight was I was fired up after seeing the first show. So when
yeah.
Jordan Oliver came out, I was like at a 10. And he just comes by, and I just immediately start flicking him off, and I'm like, "Fuck you, Jordan!" And just keep going on for like 10 minutes, enough that like the camera pans to me, just going like, "Fuck you, dude! You fucking suck!"
Yeah, Jeremy, Prophet of Ash, was in the house doing the camera work, the roaming cam. He was fucking jumping over shit. I mean, this guy is like an athlete on the outside of the ring. It's awesome. He's a good dude, busting his ass. He taped both shows tonight. Tremendous stuff. We had a fun exchange with Jordan Oliver. I remember he was making fun of everybody, and I was like, "Do you have to make fun of everything, Jordan?" He goes, "Yeah, you have to make fun of everything." Like that. He made fun of me asking him if he could make fun of everything, which was pretty funny. I was like, okay, Jordan.
He's a pretty good heel. He gets under everyone's
He
skin.
loves it. You can tell, man. He loves when people boo him. And
All these young, dumb, and full of cum guys do.
they're the worst. I can't stand them. But Jordan Oliver's a really good wrestler, and they kind of all are, but fuck them. So.
Yeah. So Monkey and Jordan kind of have their little spot, and then Monkey goes against the Snake.
Yeah, Monkey versus Snake here, huh?
I was totally expecting Space Monkey just to grab him by like the ankle and just start like if he was like Bam Bam from Flintstones, just started bamming him from each side of the ring. Because I've seen like videos of monkeys versus snakes,
Yeah.
where the monkey just grabs them by the tail and just starts whacking them against rocks.
Monkey usually wins, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know, it depends on how big the snake is.
That's true. Yeah.
Because they can coil up around it.
Well, the monkeys can usually just get away, but in this case, Space Monkey can't leave. He's got to fight the snake.
Yeah.
So we had some good stuff from these two. We got to see some of that unique offense from Fidian. He does like variations of the gory special that bend opponents in ways that you didn't know they could bend, and he turns it into slams and stuff like that. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. What'd you think of Fidian, John?
I thought it was pretty cool. I think he probably would have been better suited for a singles match so that we could see him really get all of his shit in, even though he, spoiler alert, made it to the end of the match. But I think it would have been cooler to kind of like see him as a surprise. I would have loved to just see Space Monkey versus him.
Well,
Gimmick versus gimmick.
we may get that eventually, you know what I mean? I don't know anything, about what Fidian's future at Unsanctioned Pro is, but I hope that this is a way to introduce him to the audience,
Yeah.
That's what I hope, and that's what scrambles are good for. So I think that was a smart booking decision to kind of have him in this, so if he's going to continue to show up. So, what ended up happening? We started getting some eliminations, right?
Yeah, so speaking of Ophidian, he eliminates MV Young with like a bridge pin, and then he flips over and is like laying on top of them, but also bent over, and it's like impossible to kick out of.
Oh, it's so crazy. It's just
Near impossible.
like I said, unique offense. And indie wrestlers that are listening to this, wondering why they can't get over at other places, it's because you don't have unique offense. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that can get a guy over, even if you've never seen him before. In fact, especially if you've never seen him before. That thing that sticks in a fan's mind that they're going to remember a year from now. I'll never forget the first time I saw Space Monkey. Never. It's just one of those things where guys have unique offense, they do unique things, that sticks in the fans' mind. So, go ahead, John.
I was incorrect. He eliminated Freddie Hudson.
Oh, Freddie Hudson. Yeah, Freddie Hudson got in there and mixed it up with both these guys. He got to wrestle Ophidian for a while, too. Man, Freddie Hudson's awesome. So happy to see him. He's one of these guys that you may discount. You may look at Freddie Hudson and be like, he's nothing. You know what I mean? But guess what? He can hang with any of these guys, and he can fucking go. I love Freddie. Plus, he's just an awesome dude. So, there you go.
Seems really nice.
So, fuck you, indie wrestling. Book Freddie Hudson.
So the next elimination was Clayton Gaines eliminating MV Young. This is after there was like some back and forth where Clayton spit the protein shake in some people's faces.
Protein shake. I like that.
Levi took a drink of the protein shake. You remember that?
He did.
And he spit it out immediately.
He said, this isn't Amish made, like that. And then the crowd started chanting, they had chanted, this is Amish before, and I tried to get a this isn't Amish chant, or that's not Amish chant. They were
Just didn't work, yeah.
Well, some of my chants worked tonight, though.
Some of them can't all be winners.
No, it's okay.
Just like these people in the match. Ophidian then eliminated Clayton Gaines with the same style pin.
That's good. Thank you, Ophidian. Fuck Clayton Gaines.
I would have been fine if he lasted a little longer.
You're a fan. You like him, huh?
Yeah.
I like him as a wrestler. You know, I'm saying fuck his character. You know, so.
Yeah. Okay. Levi then churns Space Monkey's tail.
Unbelievable. He set up like he's going to churn the butter. The crowd's chanting churn, churn, and then he eyes the tail. And everyone's like, do it. As he starts churning the butter on the tail.
Poor Space Monkey. He always has so much tail trauma.
I mean,
I can't relate, but...
You don't have a skin tag back there or
No.
something? That's so gross. Alright, what else happened?
Then that little bitch, Jordan Oliver, eliminates Levi Everett, the hometown hero.
Oh, boo, that's massive heat. I knew as soon as these two were in this ring, I was like, oh, well, Jordan Oliver's definitely going to screw over Levi, because that gets you massive heat in Unsanctioned Pro.
Yeah. And then Space Monkey eliminates Jordan Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came down to our final two combatants. It was Space Monkey and Ophidian the Snake.
We got to see some fun stuff here, you know?
We did.
Oh, man, I love both these guys. I'm so happy. Unsanctioned Pro just gets better and better, and these two guys crush it for a few minutes, but who ends up winning, John?
Space Monkey is able to kill the snake like a monkey would in nature.
Mm-hmm. That's
He wins.
awesome. So Space Monkey wins. The crowd goes fucking insane. And that was our opening match. It was outstanding. John, what'd you think?
I thought it was fantastic. I think UP really knows how to put on scramble matches. Some scramble matches can just be complete chaos and dive. This one didn't necessarily feel like they had dive spots, but it wasn't the entire match.
It didn't follow that bullshit scramble formula, that I've heard so much about. The formula of, okay, let's all kick a heel in the face and get everybody out. Everybody do their shit a little bit. Oh, we got, Tower of Doom in the corner, and then everybody does their finisher, and then we get a pin. You know what I mean? Or a bunch of dives and a pin. That's it. I'm glad.
The 17 dives.
Yeah, we got to get that in there too. So, anyway, well, it's a different kind of scramble match, and it's one that adds importance to each elimination and adds importance to every person that's in the match, and I really enjoy that. So,
you know what I wouldn't mind? I wouldn't mind if these scramble matches, because we kind of get them every show, if they start leading to something more, like a title match. So whether it's the hardcore title that it's kind of up in limbo right now, because the champion is out injured, or if it leads to a UP title match.
I think it has in the past. I think that in the past, some of these scramble matches, there was an elimination scramble match that was the tag team match that was one of the tournament matches, so they do that sometimes, and we'll see. I mean, Space Monkey won. We'll see what he does next. I'm assuming that that's going to kind of push him up the card a little bit, and we'll see what happens next.
Space Monkey in a hardcore match?
Yes. Oh, man, that'd be so much fun.
He would just use bananas as weapons.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, it was 10 degrees today, so I'm sorry, Space Monkey. I apologize. I didn't bring any bananas because I didn't want you to, I didn't want to throw them in the ring and have them, hit you in the face and,
knock
break,
you out.
yeah, knock you out because they're frozen bananas. So, I'm sorry. Some people did bring a few bananas, so there was some, but I'm sorry, buddy. I just didn't want to do it to you, so. All right, what was the next match?
Our next match was Kobe Durst, Ram Jam, going against Atticus Kogar.
Yeah. Now, Atticus Kogar was in the scramble match, or one of the matches from OWA. Was highly impressive in that match. And so we had ourselves a singles match here with Kobe Durst, the Diamond Tiger. And, this was just a great junior heavyweight style match, Both these guys are awesome. I don't know what to say about it. It was just great.
I will say this. Atticus might be the most terrifying person I've ever seen in real life.
Why do you say that, John?
So part of it is he comes out in this jacket that is made of like human faces and skin. I mean, it's very like Leatherface-esque, but it was disturbing. It creeped me out. And then the fact that he has like the pure hate on his knuckles, and then he's got all these like piercings and tattoos, and just he's got the silver teeth and.
He's the silver teeth Satan, you know? I do like the pure hate on his fucking knuckles, my God.
Like,
But,
what do you do at work? When, like with that, like you're working at like your office job, you're doing your spreadsheets, and then the boss comes over and he's like, "Oh, pure hate."
yeah, well, he's probably like, who should I ask to do this extra work? Jim in accounting or Atticus Kogar? Jim, I need to talk to you. I got something for you to do. So I think that's how that works. So, I mean, maybe I need to get pure hate tattooed on my fucking forehead. You know, people quit
So
fucking
no one
with me
asks
at
you
work.
to do anything at work.
No, I probably won't make any money. No, that's the
Yeah.
problem. So I have to start wrestling. So I am 1-0. So there is that. Man, shit is getting a little crazy on the road here. I can feel we're not quite sticking like we should be. So help me out here, John.
Okay.
Help us out.
So, like you said, it was a great junior heavyweight style match. Very fast paced and hard hitting. Like, I would definitely agree with that. Atticus and Kobe were just laying it on each other a lot of the match. We get a triple double down where these two guys just keep running and double clotheslining each other, and then they get up and they do it again, and then they get up and they do a third double clothesline, and they are down.
Really cool. A nice little spin on the double down. And something else I want to mention about Atticus a second ago before I got distracted by driving, which should be the other way around, but you know, it is what it is. Atticus Kogar wrestles big. He works big. He's not big. He wrestles big. Does that make sense? I mean, like, if you see him, that'll make sense. I don't know how to, like...
He does a lot of, like, powerful moves, but he doesn't necessarily have, like, the height or the muscle mass, but he's able to pull off these really, like, strong-looking, like, hits and power slams. And
Well, the thing with, like, Macho Man was, like, 5'10 or 5'11, but he wrestled all the big guys because he'd stay up on his toes and he'd work big. You know, he looked big because he worked big. And that's kind of, I mean, I'm not saying that Atticus Kogar is Macho Man. I'm just saying it's a similar kind of thing. Whenever you see Macho Man, he's not a big dude. And yet he looks big. He works big. He's up against Hogan, who is gigantic, you know?
Yeah.
And he still seems credible. And that's one of the reasons why, is because he's able to kind of, you know, guys like that have to work big, work strong, and that way it's believable that they can defeat giant dudes, you know? So
he's got, like, a big ring presence about him.
you got it, exactly. It's all about the presence. So, all right. Well, man, this was awesome. Both guys doing all kinds of cool shit. Didn't get huge notes on this one just for the simple fact, kind of got caught watching it, honestly. And there was so much going on tonight. I mean, it's crazy. But, John, what was the finish of this match?
Kogar was able to pick up the victory with a face buster thingy, as you put it.
Yeah, he had like a series of moves, like 2 or 3 moves that he hit, and by the time I got to kind of write it down in the notes, I kind of had it left my mind, you know. So it's almost like the skull crushing finale, I think, maybe, I don't know.
Similar, but not quite.
Yeah, so something like that. But it was awesome. He won. Kobe Durst on a losing streak, I think, at Unsanctioned Pro.
I think so. I feel like the last time he won was like UP3.
Yeah, it's been a while. He beat he beat Lexus Montez. I think at like UP 5 or 6 maybe. So anyway, but always good to see him. He is a tremendous wrestler. And what happened next, John?
We had our next match, which was a 6-person tag. It was those young, dumb, and full of cum dweebs.
Yuck.
Was it Charlie Tiger?
Yes.
There's a kid named Griffin.
Yeah.
And then there's one with brown hair.
Who cares? Fuck them, you know? These guys called Derek fat. What a bunch of assholes!
Bunch of jerks.
I can't stand them. We've gone over it. It's well established at this point. You're young, you can't help that. Okay, that's fine. You're dumb, go to school. What are you doing wrestling and smoking weed or whatever the fuck they're doing?
Get your GED.
Yeah,
get
go
a
to
job.
school.
Get an education.
Then what'll happen next? You won't be broke anymore, you know? So, these are all problems you can fix, and I don't understand why they're so proud of it. They think they're so cool because they're uneducated. That is not cool.
I think the reason that they're so broke, though, is because Griffin spent all the money on his, gear.
Maybe.
He had really nice, ring pants.
Yeah.
Like,
They're pretty cool.
But, the other guy, the one that we don't know his name, the brown-haired guy, his letters were falling off the back of his pants.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come on, well.
Share the wealth. The little of it that you have.
I expect him, to have shitty gear. So, but, Derek was pissed off that these guys had called him fat. They also cussed a bunch, which pisses off someone else. And who is that, John?
The leader of this other tag team, the real Dan Housen.
That's right. Danhausen does not like cursing. And just a real quick thing about this, I think this gimmick that he's doing with the no cursing is genius because I compared it on the preview show to Rob Van Dam, Mr. Monday Night. Because it's I love to work on Mondays. It's that kind of thing. And what he's doing, though, is the babyface version where he's saying, I don't curse, no cursing, because you can't curse on TV.
That's
and
right.
He wants to be on TV. It's fucking awesome. I love it. Dan Housen's line, his merch line, was longer than anyone else's tonight.
Yeah, it was almost back to the
Out
bathroom.
the door. Yeah, unbelievable. So Dan Housen's fucking over. And who did Dan Housen enlist to defeat these full of cum guys?
He brought in the Iron Demon. The Iron Demon. Shane Mercer.
Oh my god. And who else did he enlist to kill these fuckers?
Former two-time owner of the Road Home from Wrestling podcast, our old boss, Lexus Montez.
That's right. And so these guys are going to murder these young, dumb, and full of cum guys. They won't be full of cum anymore. They're going to knock the cum right out of them.
That's gross. That's a different...
Hey, we got to work some jokes in, John.
They probably do that on their own.
Oh, you said you thought you saw a cum stain on one of their on their ring pants.
Griffin. He has a cum stain on the lettering.
That is gross, guys. Wash your gear. Use Woolite, by the way, and gently wash your gear.
Do you think they play Soggy Biscuit?
I don't want to talk about that or know what that is. So
you don't know what Soggy Biscuit is?
I can imagine, and I don't know. I think we've been leaning too much on the sex stuff lately, John. I know I just made 300 cum jokes, but that's an established joke, all right? So
sex sells.
How does it? Okay. So, maybe not when it comes to us. But
yeah. So to start, it's Danhausen versus Griffin. We immediately get to our tequila spot, which we were excited because where we were sitting, we were right on the hard camera. It was at the back of our heads. So we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be right in front of us. Psych. It's on the opposite, it's on the side of where we were.
It's on the right side, yeah.
So we still got a good shot of it, but not quite.
I was very proud of the crowd because when the, they all said Danhausen, not tequila. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That makes a lot more sense,
It does make sense.
So that was great. Also, Lexus Montez held one of the young, dumb, and full of cum guys for Danhausen to fucking kick him. That was awesome, man. I love that. That was great.
So Danhausen tags out, Lexus comes in, and then I think, either brown hair, Charlie, Tiger gets in, but Griffin tags out. And so those two are kind of going back and forth, and then they start getting heat on Lexus.
They did. They teamed up on him, and the referees tonight were Max Recon and referee Sean P. Fucking guys are awesome, but they were not able to see what was going on here. I think Sean was the ref of this match. I can't remember exactly, but whoever it was distracted, and so these young dumb guys, they're fucking beating up on Lexus, getting a little heat on him, huh?
They were.
He needed help.
And eventually he did get a little help because Shane Mercer came in and just started whomping everybody.
He lifted one of the dudes up in a gorilla press and then started clotheslining the other guys while he was gorilla pressing the other guy and then chucked him out of the ring. Fucking awesome.
Right onto him.
That's right.
And then Danhausen, as Mercer was going to tag out, Danhausen's like, hey, no, use him as a weapon. And he's pointing at Lexus, and Lexus is like, I don't want to be used as a weapon. And Danhausen's like, well, I'm in charge of this tag team. You're getting used as a weapon. So Shane Mercer picks up Lexus as if he's going to, like, hit a World Strong Slam, and did he just chuck him?
Yeah, he threw him over the top rope to the outside on
Yeah.
this guy. Sounds great.
And then everybody was like, you know, we need to weaponize Danhausen.
Mm-hmm.
So Shane Mercer kind of gets him on his shoulders, like they're getting ready to play chicken, and he just throws Danhausen over his shoulders onto the one of the young dumb guys, and Danhausen hits a Hurricane Rana.
Unbelievable. Well, actually, he did that to Lexus. That was not Danhausen.
What did he use Danhausen
So
for?
Danhausen was like, yeah, throw me, but do it out here. And so he like went to the outside and like got kind of like pushed off the apron or whatever. It was a
Okay.
much safer version. So,
Yes.
but yeah, this shit was awesome. Crowd was just insane for this because everybody hates the young, dumb, and broke guys. You know, because they're
They
just
do.
assholes. And how dare you call Derek fat? You pieces of crap.
They're just such jerks. So Danhausen tries to choke slam two of the young, dumb, and broke guys, but obviously, I hate to break it to you, Danhausen, but you are not that strong, and you were not able to do that. So they overpower him, and then eventually, kind of get to our go home of here. The Shane Mercer is setting up for the moonsault and battery, but the young, dumb guys are able to get him out of the ring and beat him down a little bit. They pick up Alexis and hit a burning hammer, lung blower, headbutt combo.
Yes! Alexis! They basically flipped dude over onto the other guy's waiting knees, and then fucking Charlie Tiger came in and blasted him with a headbutt, got the pin on Lexus. So while they're celebrating, here comes dickhead Jordan Oliver with his phone, and he's like, "Hey, smile for the camera," and they're probably live on Instapoop or whatever the fuck they're on, Snap Crap or whatever the fuck it is. So.
Yep.
Whatever the kids are doing these days, Cameo, whatever the fuck it is. So,
There's shooting a cameo in the middle of, like, the victory.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? They could be. And, but that was a really fun match. So that was a lot of fun. What happened next, John?
Up next, we had Alex Colon versus Jake Something.
Yeah. John, you got to see Jake Something twice in one day, and you were like, I really enjoy this guy. Why? Why do you like Jake Something?
I like his look. He's just a big, burly dude who just looks like he can rip your head off. He's quick for a big guy. He, just has a lot of powerful moves. I feel like he's pretty well-rounded. I'd like to hear him talk on the mic, though, to see if he's like the complete package.
He's a tremendous wrestler. He is kind of the total package, not Lex Luger, but because Lex Luger rules, but also Jake Something rules. But anyway, yeah, Alex Colon, more of kind of like a hardcore wrestler, also can go in every which way as possible. He's probably one of the most well-rounded wrestlers in independent wrestling, period. So we didn't know what we were going to get here. We didn't know, and goddamn, this was the beginning. Just a little, this was insane, but this was a little bit of insanity. We're just going to give you a little bit of insanity in this match, and then, this was the beginning of just complete chaos that went throughout the night. I think I got pretty good notes on this one. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so Alex takes the upside-down chair. So back at the first show, the OWA show, Atticus was, posted up on an upside-down chair with, the four legs looking at him. And Alex Colon jumped off the top with, double, kicked him in the back of the neck from the chair, and he just, bounced off. So we had the return of that. So for this time, Alex Colon took, what did he take, a body slam?
Yes, he body slammed him right into the fucking chair upside down, and the cross beam for the chair legs that support it just turned into a V. Oh my god, and Alex's back went into that. Ouch.
Good thing he has all that built-up scar tissue
I guess
to
so.
help protect him a little bit.
His back is completely covered in scars.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Then it takes it right side up, and Jake gets a door.
Yeah? Lots of doors tonight. Lots of doors.
Yes.
We'll talk about these doors a little later because we got something we got to talk about with these fucking doors. But go ahead.
Alex does a tornado DDT off of it, but then Jake Something responds with a huge black hole slam.
Gigantic one. My God. Spun them all the way around.
Yes. And then we had a huge, I literally mean huge, second row power bomb. Jake Something takes Alex Cologne, who's trying to do like a hurricane rana off the top, through the door that's down below, and Jake Something stops him and just like destroys him.
It was a sit-out power bomb, and this is when I noticed that the doors in the corners of the doors had like little mini like gusset plate kind of things that were just sticking out of them, and I was like, oh my God, these doors are going to be even more terrifying than regular doors because they had like this like quarter-inch fucking thing sticking out of the ends. But nobody got cut up on that tonight, thank goodness, because I was worried about it. So
they also had these really thick, hard 2x4s in the middle of them.
That's true. Yeah, I got hit in the leg with one of them.
Shout out at you from this spot.
That was fun.
Then we get some more doors set up throughout the ring. Jake Something spears Alex through a door over in the turnbuckle by us, but it's only good for 2. Mm-hmm. Alex Cologne's not taking this.
No, he's mad. He wants another shot at that heavyweight title. I'm sure, and he's working every way he can to get there.
So we get then. He gets a piece of the door and just starts beating the shit out of Jake Something with it. And then he hits a code red for the win.
He does.
Much to the dismay of Jake Something.
Yeah, Jake Something, those 3 shots to the head, the first 2, Jake Something got hit unprotected, and that third one he got his hand up, he was like, I'm not trying to fuck around with that anymore.
Yeah. But it was enough damage to kind of knock him loopy for at least 3 seconds.
That's right. Yeah.
After that code red.
So Cologne gets the big win. You're happy because you got to see Jake Something again, and he's a tremendous wrestler, like I said. So
it's my first time seeing him ever.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I've seen him many times all over the place. I know he wrestles at War Wrestling. He wrestles at Rockstar Pro sometimes. I saw him dressed up as a 8-man at one point, which is really stupid.
Shocking.
I can't believe they made him do that, but whatever. He's just fucking great. So he's one of those guys you see him and go, that guy's a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, that's just awesome. All right, what happened next, John?
We got what I would honestly say the first of our 2 main events of the night. It was Myron Reed taking on Trey Lamar in a street fight.
I don't know that I would call this like a main event. I would call it like maybe the best match we saw this weekend, or this, tonight, maybe. So this has been building for a while. These guys have had tag matches against each other and stuff like that, but basically they've wanted the singles match for a while, and they finally got it. And this was like, Myron and Trey coming out to prove that they're not just flippy dudes. They're out here to prove that they can do all styles. And John, before we get into this, what were you expecting from this match?
I was expecting what you just kind of said. It's a lot of like flippy moves and a lot of like high spots, kind of in and out of the ring, because I know their feud has kind of spilled outside. But I didn't quite think it was going to get as hardcore as it did.
Do you remember I guess this was a couple years ago now, what's his name? Seth Rollins had turned on the Shield, right? And it took a couple months, but finally Dean Ambrose got this like singles match with him, right?
Yeah.
And they just had a straight up wrestling match where they did sort of like chain wrestling and stuff, and it was just a straight up match. And everyone was like, "What the fuck? I thought you guys hated each other. I thought you were gonna kill each other." So we got the exact opposite. We got the proper way to tell that story tonight, where these guys were trying to murder each other. And that's not what you usually see from these guys. You usually see this kind of really smooth, flippy kind of style. And man, unbelievable stuff in this match. I believe this was the best match we saw tonight, today, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion. I was speechless after this. I was walking around just looking at people going, did you see that? That was me after this match. Let's get into it, John. I mean, tell me a little bit about this shit. Unbelievable.
So during Myron's entrance, he brings out a box full of Legos, which, Derek has so many Legos left over from all of his Lego death matches. Not Lego, his OGL matches.
Well, no, it's multicolored building blocks that hurt. That's what they're called.
So, right off the gate, Myron, Trey comes out and he's like, hey, all of you guys need to get out of this section. And we're like, what? He's like, move. So all of us kind of scatter over to one side, and Myron eats shit. He goes through the chairs.
Well, so Trey was on the outside next to us, right?
Yes.
And Myron did a suicide dive, and Trey just got out of the way, and Myron just ate shit into the chairs in one of the best eat shit into the chair spots I've ever seen. And I've seen tons of those. So it was awesome. I thought he was dead. That's what you want from a spot like that. You want everybody to think he's dead. So that's what we thought.
What would you do if you actually did die?
Did I die?
No, what would you do if he actually?
Well, the show would be over, John, and I don't know. We might cancel the podcast because that would be a terrible experience for everyone.
I know.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, you said I thought he died. So I was just like,
I'm saying dying in the fun wrestling sense, not real death. Good Lord.
Sorry for that sad moment,
Yeah,
guys.
what are we doing here? Come on.
I don't know. So we after that we get a garbage can spot, which is trash.
It's gross.
Just like my last joke.
Oh.
So Trey Lamar gets the trash can, just starts dumping it all over Myron Reed, which is disgusting and total heel shit.
Yeah. And they had said very clearly, clean up after yourself tonight. We might want to come back to this building. So hey, please clean your shit up. And Myron Reed and Trey are like, fuck that, we're gonna put trash everywhere.
Yeah. We're not about that life. We're gonna dump it everywhere.
Pretty funny.
Then we get a ladder spot. I don't remember exactly what that ladder spot was.
I don't know either. I'm sorry if I didn't go clearly into the notes there.
Oh, it's fine. And then Myron Reed hit a Spanish fly onto all of the Legos.
And yeah, so they had poured out the Legos, and I mean, there were weapons laying everywhere, doors and fucking chairs and Legos and shit all over the place. So these guys are doing moves among all this stuff. And, Myron hits a standing Spanish fly. It was almost as good as that standing Spanish fly that I posted on Twitter that cat hit on the other cat. Did you see that shit?
Yeah.
Man, those guys are killing the business. Those cats.
No selling.
They just no-sold it. Unbelievable.
But these guys didn't no sell.
No,
They were down.
no, they sold.
Because those Legos looked painful.
Ouch.
From here, Trey sets a ladder up into the corner, and he puts Myron on it, and then he sets a chair on top of Myron, climbs to the top rope, and jumps off the top into the chair with a double stomp, and the chair immediately goes flying onto the ground, and this girl just gets a chair to the face. She's like, I'm fine.
She eats a chair, and she's like, yay! And we were sad that Allie wasn't with us, right? Because Allie, who was at the last Unsanctioned Pro show with us, you told her what happened, and what'd she say?
She said that'd be the best day of my life. I'd be in heaven.
Yeah. So next time, Allie comes, hit her with a chair.
Yeah, please do. So then there's a corner.
So the corner spot. So earlier in the match, we had seen, I believe it was Myron had set up a door on the outside to the right of us, which would have been exactly where he would land if he was going to do his quarter, tope con hilo spot. And so we knew what was going on, and the whole time I'm thinking, because they set that up earlier in the match, and then we kind of, they did the thing where you're supposed to forget about it or whatever, and then it happens. But we're not just any wrestling fans. We don't forget that shit,
No,
and plus, I had taken note, thinking, well, that's exactly where Myron would land on this spot that we've seen him do a million times, right? And I'm thinking to myself, are they going to do this? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do this?
Well, I was trying to figure out how they were going to set it up, because it's kind of hard, because Myron usually, runs and just jumps out to them on the outside. So how is he going to get Trey out there, laying on that table. Well, he didn't really have to get him laying on there. He kind of kicks Trey a couple times on the outside, and then sprints back and just leaps over and dives onto Trey, and they both go through the table.
Unbelievable. The crowd exploded. The door exploded. Their bodies probably exploded on the inside, but we couldn't see it. So, thank goodness. What happened next, Sean?
So Myron throws Trey back inside, hits a 450, and gets the victory.
That's right. Springboard 450 again. Man, I feel like that he was on a door or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But point is that Myron gets the win, and man, unbelievable match. That's one of the best Myron Reed matches I've ever seen. So Trey Lamar had that match with Evercross that was tremendous as well. That and this one are my two favorite Trey Lamar matches for sure. And that, like I said, I mean, that might be the best match I've ever seen Myron Reed wrestle. And that's coming from a guy who has seen, I don't know, 100 at least Myron Reed matches, at least 100 matches, you know. And I've seen him against a variety of opponents. I've never seen anything like this from him, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
I hope he never does it again, because good lord, no, that he's going to have to top himself.
I do, because so at post-match, they're still chirping at each other, and Myron's still super pissed off, and he doesn't feel like he's done. And he tells Trey, I'm not through with you. Like, I want another match. And Trey just kind of flicks him off using his arms, does the little, like, uppercut flick-off thing.
The Maron, you know, he does that one too.
And he walks away. And I looked at you and I said, I want a last man standing match out of these two.
Sounds good. You know?
Or even maybe like a I quit and one of them has to leave the company. Well, don't leave the company.
Or come back under a mask, you know, that's always funny. But yeah, I mean, they
would never be able to tell that Trey is under a mask.
They need another match here in another stipulation. It's a little different. So, after that, we had a break, right?
We did.
So we had single intermission. And during single intermission, well, actually earlier in the night, there was a brief break when they were cleaning up one of the matches, and we saw one of our favorite guys, didn't we? We went and saw Levi. Tell me about this interaction that we have with Levi, and we have to make fun of the drunk girl.
We do. So we get over to Levi, and we're like, hey, Levi, how's it going? We shake hands, and we start asking him about his birdhouses, you know, how much they cost.
Tell me Levi's sales pitch on these birdhouses. It was adorable.
So we're like, Levi, how much do they cost? And he's like, well, the small ones are $5, and the big ones are $15. And the reason that the small ones are $5 is because I can do them a lot quicker. And then the 15 ones, they take a little bit more time and, you know, patience. And I'm like, Levi, I understand why they cost more. It takes more effort.
Now, that is adorable, but I am in sales, and I just got to give Levi a little advice here. Never negotiate with yourself, Levi, okay? You know, don't come to us thinking that we don't want to pay $10 for the small ones and $20 for the bigger ones, you know?
Right.
Don't undersell yourself, man. You worked hard on those. Those are quality birdhouses, and as we've established, there is a homeless bird problem throughout the entire world. And Levi's out here trying to save the population of birds. So, you know, me and John, we want to help out as well. Plus, we fucking love Levi, so we bought a couple birdhouses. And if you watch this show, you will see us cheering, holding birdhouses.
Yeah. But before we could purchase these birdhouses, this drunk girl, who we had encountered earlier in the night, she walks up, the 2x4 that you got hit with, she walks up, hey guys, like, can I have this 2x4 that is, like, laying here? And you're like, sure, you can have it, we don't want it.
It wasn't quite, you know, if you're picturing a 2x4, it wasn't that big, you know, but John's overselling this thing a little bit. But yes, this girl was drunk, and she's, you know, very pretty and nice or whatever, but she was just, like, obnoxious, and it was hilarious because she asked for it, and I go, I don't give a shit, take it. So she's running around trying to get the wrestlers to sign it, and so we're clearly in a conversation about to purchase things from Levi. And by the way, if you're a wrestling fan, never get in the way of a wrestler and money. You know, if money's coming in at the merch table, get the fuck out of the way, right? because that guy might have to run to the back all of a sudden to get, and then he may miss out on the sale.
Right.
So what'd she say when she walked up?
Excuse me, but can you sign this 2x4? And can you get all the other wrestlers to sign this 2x4? I'm like, no. And Levi, being the gentleman that he is,
Of course, he's really
like,
nice.
He's like, oh my gosh, yes, darling, I would love to do that. And he's like trying to find a marker, but he's Amish, so he doesn't have a marker. He only writes with pencils, typically, that he whittles himself. So he goes over to Danhausen, grabs a marker, comes back, and signs it for her, and kind of is like, yeah, you're gonna have to get the other wrestlers to sign it. I can't get this for you.
But he's very nice about it,
Yeah.
That was really funny, though, because we were just like, are you fucking shitting me, lady? Get the hell out of here, so...
We were literally trying to buy something,
Yes.
and you're just cutting to get free stuff.
Right, so we bought a couple birdhouses. We posed with the birdhouses with Levi. That will
Yes.
most likely be the cover art for this episode, because that's a tremendous picture. And, man...
And Evil Andy, who won the raffle at the OWA show,
he also bought one,
he also bought a birdhouse.
Yeah.
So we cleared him out of the big birdhouses. He's going to have to start getting whittling, making new ones.
He couldn't believe it. He was like, he couldn't believe it. He like hugged us, He was like, oh my God, thank you so much.
Cheesing from ear to ear.
Unbelievable. Man, Levi's so awesome. Oh, God. So I went and talked to Awesome Odyssey, got a t-shirt from them as well. We talked to, Sean the ref was there, Max Recon, talked to Justin Dortch, who was in the, the promoter for OWA. all kinds of people. It's just a big love fest after that match. And like I said, I'm walking up to people going, and they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, did you see what just happened? What do you mean? I can't even speak.
Right.
Unbelievable. It was awesome.
So I'm trying to establish my own relationships with these wrestlers outside of you. So like
Not inside of me?
No, like I'm not trying to be known as like, oh, that's Andy's like co-host.
Good,
guy.
I like that.
So,
Thank you. Yes.
So I also talked to the Awesome Odyssey guys. We'll talk to them a little bit more after you left. Then I went and hit up Danhausen.
Oh yeah.
Talked to him for a little
Nice.
bit.
The real name.
Talked to Jordan Oliver.
Ooh.
'Cause,
Yeah. How'd that go?
So I bought a sticker from Danhausen. Easy exchange, money exchange. I gave him a 20. He gave me my change back. And so I look over at Jordan Oliver. I'm like, oh, you have stickers too. I need to fill up my water bottle. How much are yours? He's like, they're $3. So I was like, all right, perfect.
You mean your water bottle? You want to put stickers on your water bottle?
Yeah,
Right?
or maybe I just like to fill water bottles full of stickers. Whatever. Leave me alone. So
It's
I'm
funny
like,
though. It is funny.
you would never imagine how many stickers you could fit inside of a water bottle.
You have big water bottles.
I know. For big stickers.
That's funny.
So I'm like, here you go. Here's $5, Jordan. Can I have my change? And so he's like, sure. Yeah, give me a second. So he's like, he grabs the 5, and he's like, he's looking at his wallet, and he's like trying to count the money, and he like counts it, and I'm like, dude, it's $2. You owe me $2. 3 minus 5 minus 3, 2. Shut up, man. I knew that. Here you go.
You should have flipped him off and said $2 with both hands, middle finger, and been like, $2. That was, so it's not just a gimmick, huh?
Right. I was like, wow, man, you're really living up to that gimmick, aren't you? Shut up, dude. Go away.
That's amazing. I love that. Tremendous. All right, so that was single intermission, and that's what we call intermission, by the way, if you are a new listener. And after that, we had another match, and we were just wondering, how the fuck, what do we do now? You know what I mean? Like, how can we even move on from what we just saw? But we did. What was next?
We had a big man match, or a Haas match, as some would say.
Motherfucking hospital.
It was PV Smooth taking on O'Shea Edwards.
My God. All damn day O'Shea. I refuse to call him the big bad because there's only one big bad, and that's our boss, Brandon Taggart. So,
Who's not happy with us.
yeah, he's not real happy with us. He doesn't like Levi Everett for some reason. So I
Or
don't
any
know.
of the Lost
We have a
Boys.
meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. We'll hash it out. What's he gonna do? Fire us?
Right.
And then
Is
who's
he
gonna
gonna,
do it?
is he gonna do the podcast?
Oh yeah, we're like job security. It's fine. We can do whatever we want. Fuck it.
I wish an ATM would do a podcast.
That would be great. That'd be a great podcast, man.
It would.
Man, I'd listen to
Wouldn't be able to understand most of ATM, but it's
What
fine.
do you mean?
His accent is so.
It's fine. All right. So O'Shea Edwards, gigantic man. PB Smooth, gigantic man. And if you listen to our OWA episode, they both wrestled on the show previous, and there was some kind of, there's this kind of trading wins here a little bit that we got. This match started off as shoulder tackles, the match. We had forever shoulder tackles. Literally, hit the rope, shoulder tackle, hit the rope, shoulder tackle. I mean, it did that for like a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Then they just started hitting shoulder tackles like closer to each other. And I mean, it was really cool.
Started doing circle spins of like the shoulder tackles.
I thought that was pretty cool. I like that,
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun, man. These guys, just giant dudes beating each other up. That's what this is,
Yeah, and then they immediately transitioned from the shoulder tackles into suplexes, where they just kept suplexing each other over and over again.
At one point, O'Shea Edwards was like, I'm sick of this shit. And then he like did something different. He's like, I'm tired of suplexing myself, suplexing each other.
And so, yeah, just a lot of back and forth big guy shit, which led to the finish. There honestly wasn't a ton of like moves in this match to discuss.
No, it was mostly them just trying to out big guy each other, and hit big moves. That's all it was. Now, they almost broke the ring. They I'm not kidding. This is not hyperbole. They damaged they got the boards to jump on top of each other or something like that, because these guys are hitting fucking suplexes and shit over and over again, and the board just hopped up. And so after this match, they had to fix that, which took a few minutes. That was pretty funny. So
Max Recon came out to save the
dude,
day.
Max Recon, he's not. I mean, we've already established he's more human than a human. He's a fucking Terminator. He's a living weapon. He's shooting up in this motherfucker. He's swimming up in this motherfucker. And later tonight, he was sweeping up in this motherfucker. Is there anything Max Recon can't do?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. He's the best there is. Other than Sean. I love Sean too. Sean rules.
Well,
You got mad at Sean tonight, but
I did.
Well, let's get to the finish of this match.
So, PB Smooth wins with a full Nelson slam.
That's right, man. They look crazy, and that's probably what broke the ring. So
It probably is what broke the ring.
after that, they had to fix the fucking ring, and that was insane. Like I said, Max Recon saved the day, and then he later on he was sweeping shit. I mean, like I said, Max rules. Awesome dude. Good to see everybody tonight as far as the refs go. What was next?
So while Max was fixing the ring announcer kind of let us know, hey, Matthew Justice no-showed the event.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make it. It's out of the control of UP. And this happens every show. There's always going to be somebody, when you're booking so many people from out of town, there's always going to be somebody who can't make it. Unfortunately, this is the second time that Matthew Justice has not been at a show, which is not cool. You know what I mean? It just kind of sucks because you're letting the fans down or whatever. And who knows what's going on? I'm sure he has a legitimate reason, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He's a tremendous wrestler. I'm sorry we didn't get to see him tonight, but you know what? Didn't even miss him. Because we got a fucking incredible match in place. What was this, John?
Yeah, we got a hell of a match instead.
Woo.
It was AJ Gray taking on Casanova Valentine and our boy, Lord Crew.
Unbelievable. Now, if you are not following AJ Gray on Twitter, what are you doing with your life? This guy is one of the most... He was in Twitter jail for a while and then opened up a second account, so now he has 2 accounts to just tweet hilarious shit from. He's awesome. He's on there trying to get laid from a porn star. I mean, he's just doing all kinds of awesome shit. AJ Gray is great. Now, earlier the night you saw AJ Gray wrestle, right? And you were like, okay, right? But then you saw this match, right, John?
I mean, I was impressed with him from the first show, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a bummer he's not scheduled for this show, because I really enjoyed him. So when he came out, I was like, oh yeah. But then I was like, against Casanova Valentine?
Yeah, that's
I
weird,
don't know
right?
how that's going to work, because he doesn't seem like because Casanova is like the epitome of hardcore. And I look at AJ Gray and I'm like, he doesn't look like he's that hardcore.
He doesn't seem like a hardcore wrestler. I'm sure he's hardcore, but he's not a hardcore wrestler. So
Yes.
I
So then...
mean, he's trying to get into hardcore porn, I guess. So.
I guess so. So then Lord Cruz surprises everyone by coming out, because him and Casanova kind of have a little bit of a feud going as well.
They do now. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't before, they do now. And This match was hilarious. So AJ Gray's reaction to everyone's entrance and everything was fucking amazing because we immediately get this huge chant, you know, Casanova, let's go Crew, Casanova, and the crowd split, and even people that are chanting for Casanova are also chanting for Crew. I mean, you know, both these guys are, you know, baby faces galore down there at UP, and AJ Gray just standing there with this look on his face, right?
Just like kind of dumbfounded, like, what is up with these two guys?
And what about me? You know, he's kind of like, what about me a little bit? So we tried, you know, we got some AJ Gray chants going. And the crowd didn't wake up to AJ Gray until him and Crew started punching the shit out of each other.
Oh, my Lord.
Because a good chunk of the match was him and Lord Crew nearly shoot fighting. And, like, people saying, oh, my God, is this real? Like, that kind of thing. They beat the fucking shit out of each other. It was some of the best, like, shoot-style strike exchanges that you can see. I mean, it was just awesome.
Yeah, and this is, so, like, just from talking to Lord Crew in the past, like, this is the style of wrestling he likes to do. And so when they just start, like, nailing each other with, like, straight hands across the face slaps and, like, punching each other in the face, I'm like, Crew is loving this
Big
right
time.
now.
Big time. He loved it. Absolutely. You know, and so Casanova Valentine's role in this match was to kind of interrupt this, right? You know, I mean, at first it was AJ Gray interrupting Casanova and Crew, but then it was Casanova interrupting those two, and that's kind of what the story of the match was a little bit, right?
Yes.
It's pretty fun. What kind of happened on this one? What you got?
So...
Let me see here. You gotta...
Well, I was checking your notes to see if there was anything, like, that stood out.
Okay.
And there wasn't. So, but I remember a couple spots. So, Crew and Casanova kind of find their way to the outside near the entrance, and they're hitting each other. AJ Gray just out of nowhere, just like freaking Undertaker dives over the top rope onto those two, like with so much height, big air. Like he was clearing that top rope by at least 2 feet onto these two.
The first time I saw AJ Gray was up at AIW in 2017 at Hell on Earth. He was in a group called No Consequences, which is a bunch of the young guys. And a guy that hasn't been around for a while, there was this guy named Gary the King Baller, which is a fucking hilarious gimmick, by the way. And so AJ Gray was like a one-move dude at that time. And I mean, I didn't see him in singles matches, so this is just from my experience. And he hit a Timmy Lou Retton style moonsault with like twice as much air as what Timmy Lou gets, which is insane. And so I knew he could do flips and stuff like that, but he doesn't really, that's not really his style. He's more of like a, you know, almost like a strong style wrestler type of dude. And so when you see him do this stuff, these, you know, get like big air like that, it's kind of surprising, and at the same time it makes you realize, wow, this guy is a freak athlete. And that is AJ Gray. AJ Gray is a freak athlete that probably could have played any sport. You know, amazing. So, what kind of other stuff did we get here?
So after Casanova's kind of taken out of the equation, AJ starts popping Lord Crew with these chops. So I've been to a lot of indie shows. I've been to a lot of wrestling shows. I've heard a lot of chops. I don't think I've ever heard any chops this loud. Like, it sounded like a whip cracking over Crew's chest. And even Crew thought, I just got hit with a whip. Because at one point, I look over, and he's leaned on Christina Gucci Chanel, and he's like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. She's like, I know, son, it's all right.
Aww. Yeah, and AJ Gray is hitting with his whole arm, too. He's not just, you know, it's awesome. I mean, you know, gosh, I wish we had more time. I'd love to talk about chops for like 10 minutes, but we can't do that, unfortunately. You know, Crew was hitting the overhand chops, then he went to the side chops, and I mean, these guys are just killing each other. They get back in the ring. Casanova Valentine's using the fucking garden weasel on Lord Crew.
Yeah, because he does like, he pretty much takes Crew's legs out, and Crew goes face first into AJ Gray's dick, and then he gets the
garden weasel, yeah.
The garden weasel, and just starts going up and down Crew's back with it.
Ouch.
It looked painful. I mean, he definitely had cuts on the back of his back.
Yes. Later. Well, the garden weasel is like this gardening tool that's just basically spiky wheels on a stick.
Yes. So we get a couple tables make their way, or doors make their way into the ring.
Yep.
I think there were chairs as well, but
Yeah, because Lord Crew did that fucking dive off the apron that he did at UP7, but this time he actually hit Casanova,
Yes.
and like they went through a bunch of chairs right there. That was pretty cool.
it did. Yeah, really, really stiff strikes between Crew and AJ. And then I think that's the next note's like towards the finisher.
Okay, yeah.
You got any other points that stuck out to you?
It's hard to remember. I mean, like I said, we saw so much wrestling today, and a lot of it was hardcore style, so it's hard to remember every single spot. There was awesome stuff. Watch this on IWTV. You guys will shit yourself when you're watching it, so you might want to wear a diaper.
Or just watch it on the toilet. So Casanova hits a stage 5 clinger through the chair on Lord Crew, and he picks up the victory.
Yeah, and he gets his win back. You know, like I said, his role in this match was to kind of, you know, interrupt and stuff like that, but because he wanted to get his win back from Crew. You know, he had lost at UP7 from, you know, to Crew in a hardcore match, and you know, basically these two guys were just kept yelling at each other, "Fuck you! No, fuck you! No, fuck you!" You know, and I remember at one point, like, AJ Gray was like, "No, fuck both of you," and like kicked him in the face. You know, I mean, there's a lot of this stuff. It was great, man.
Oh, there was a spot where Casanova, he like yelled at both of them like, "Hey, fuck you!" Like saying like, "Hey, remember me?" And he comes like running, trying to clothesline on both, and they both just like move, and he goes straight through a door.
What's your thoughts on Casanova now that you've seen him like 3 or 4 times? What do you think about this guy?
So at first I was not sure about him because he's just such a different like style wrestler than I'm used to. But these UP shows have kind of like given me a new I'm trying to think of the right
Appreciation.
word. Appreciation for this style of wrestling because it's not what I'm used to. So seeing these guys like kind of just put their bodies on the line and just doing these ridiculous like hardcore spots, I've like grown a nice like satisfaction and appreciation to it that I didn't have before.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it? I mean, when it's done right. I've been
Yes.
to shows where it's not done right and it's just fucking idiots hitting each other. You know what I mean? That's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, there was like a promotion we went to like near the border,
Right, yeah.
where they had literal meat hooks out, just sitting in the middle of the ring doing table spots. Like someone could easily get impaled by that meat hook
Right.
because they didn't know what they were doing, or taking a weed whacker to the face with no protection.
That's what happens when you're not trained to wrestle, you know. And these guys are, it's just, at UP, they do hardcore wrestling and that kind of style right. And they do it with a story and with, you know, meaning. And the moves have meaning within the match, and they also have meaning in the long run, you know.
Yes.
We'll see some of this stuff show up again when we have the rubber match versus these two, if we get that.
I
you
hope
know?
we get a rubber match
Yeah, we better.
between
We
these two.
better. So, and AJ Gray was a tremendous replacement. I mean, goddamn, that dude is just, like I said, freak athlete. One of the hardest workers in wrestling as well. Even though he seems like a goofy dude on Twitter, he fucking busts his ass to be who he is. So, I loved AJ Gray. I'm so happy that we got to see him. What happened next time?
We had our Unsanctioned Pro Heavyweight Championship match. It was the one they called Manders, who won a match at the UWA show, won the Scramble, and he got a chance to take on the champion, Everett Cross.
God of drivers. Yeah, Everett Cross came out in like Beetlejuice gear, which was pretty cool. I love Everett Cross. You know, I mean, like, he's one of these guys, I mean, no one knows who the fuck he is other than people at Unsanctioned Pro and maybe some folks on the East Coast, and he has built this home at Unsanctioned Pro, and it's great, man. I love it so much, and is really happy to see him with a very, very credible opponent like you know, Manders. Manders is getting over all over the country. He's a guy that we saw, you know, in his very infancy as a wrestler years ago at Rockstar Pro, and we've seen him evolve into this cowboy character that fits him perfectly. I'm so glad that he is the Corn Belt Cowboy now, because that's him. That's who he is, you know?
Yeah.
However, you know, this match got started, and Manders got a little mean in this match, and the crowd started to turn on him a little bit because, man, Durs. He he started getting a little mean, and he started talking shit about Ohio State football, and he said that Iowa Hawkeyes are better than Ohio State. Now, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care about college football that much. Our team, Cincinnati, sucks usually.
Hey.
So, well, they do. They usually suck. They were good this year, but but not like national championship good. Not like on the same level these guys. But since
there is Iowa.
Well, yeah, I'm getting there. So they've had this playoff thing, right? And Iowa's never been in that, but Ohio State's been in it a couple times. So are they better?
I mean,
I don't think so.
record shows
Yeah, I don't think
that
so.
OSU was better than Iowa.
Anders is confused. He's been hanging out on that barn too much, watching his old wrestling or his old football tapes or something like
Right.
that. You know.
He's been watching the corn stalks grow and not actually, keeping up with current events.
Yeah, I also asked him during this match. I said, "Why didn't you join the wrestling team instead of the football team?" He's not happy with me. He was not happy at all. Tell me a little bit about the match, John.
So there was mat wrestling to start, and they kind of make their way to the outside, and Manders is beating up on Everett out there, just kind of clobbering him, and he sees Everett sitting up against a repost, so he decides, I'm going to run at him and clothesline the shit out of him. But Everett's too smart for that. He's the champion. He ducks out of the way, and Manders just clobbers that ring post.
He clotheslined the ring.
They come out of nowhere. There's 4 of them.
It's 4 ring posts. They always outnumber you. So, I mean, unless you're young, dumb, and full cum, then there's 4 of you and 4 of them. I'd love to see the young, dumb, and broke versus the ring posts. They would lose. The ring posts are smarter than them, so they would lose.
It would be like a last man standing match.
Oh, maybe one day. But yeah, so Manders, he clotheslines the ring post, which kind of takes his arm out of commission for a little bit. What else did we get, John?
Manders starts to stomp in the corner, just kind of stomping a mud hole into Everett. And the crowd, this is when they started to turn on Manders.
Yeah, he was getting mean, and this is when he started to talk that shit. And he's like, oh, well, fuck y'all, pretty much. Which is, it's not, I mean, like, that's not how I treat my friends. I don't treat my friends like that. I don't say that their football team sucks, and I don't tell them, fuck you. So Manders, what are we doing here? Thought we were friends.
He's got that, weird stigma of being from the other company, and so he thinks that he's better.
Ooh, okay. Okay, well,
So he teased us with I'll be your corn-fed bro, and then he turned on us.
Yeah.
They always do.
Unbelievable.
So there's some pretty good near falls. Manders eventually gets outside and grabs a door, but he gets put through it. You set it up, you're going through it.
Yep, that's how that works.
And then Everett is able to pick him up for a driver through a piece of the door.
Terrifying.
And it's good for the victory. He retains.
I like that Everett Cross is now protecting his finish where it works the first time. It used to be that he was the god of drivers and he just hit fucking pile drivers, right?
17 of them.
Yeah, and it's like, I get that. I like that. That's cool to have that gimmick, but I'd rather your driver, your pile driver be the finish if that's going to be your finish, and that's it. So you protect that. So it's great that only one took out Manders, and but man, Manders did a great job. This is a really, really good match. I loved it. I'm really a fan of Everett Cross and Manders as well. Have been for a long time. But that's not all that happened. What happened next, John?
So after Everett Cross retained, he is celebrating in the ring. But the masked wrestler from earlier today at the OWA show, he returns with a steel chair in hand. And he just takes out both Everett and Manders.
Yeah, there's something familiar about this guy. He hits a couple chair shots, and then he does this kind of, this kind of kick. It's almost like it's the best roundhouse in the biz. It's almost like that.
You think he's stealing someone else's gimmick?
No, I don't think so, because he then revealed who was it.
Oh my God, that's right. He did grab a microphone, and he revealed that he is the baddest man alive. Former owner of the Road Home from Wrestling podcast, Aaron Williams.
That's right. Friend of the show, Aaron Williams, reveals himself, and he cuts a promo that makes perfect fucking sense. He says, OWA, you guys got a show, Unsanctioned Pro's got a show, and you didn't tell the best wrestler in Ohio? You didn't invite me? So I invited myself, and I'm going to kill your champion, and I'm going to kill your challenger, and I want that title. You know, he said, what did he say? He said,
said, wait till you get a load of me.
Yeah, he set that up by saying to Evercross, you've gone across a bunch of bad dudes and whatnot. You know, not the bad dudes, but bad dudes nonetheless. He said, wait till you get a load of me, like that, which is tremendous. I love that so much. So, you know, he exits the ring, and everyone's like, yay, boo, because they're like, I want to see Aaron, but boo, but yay, you know, it's pretty cool, man. It's interesting you get that kind of mixed reaction from Unsanctioned Pro, because pretty much everyone's a babyface at Unsanctioned Pro. Yes. You know, it's a weird deal where, like, everyone's a babyface except for a couple guys, you know. Young, Dumb, and Broke, obviously, are heels, and Trey Lamar and PB Smooth are heels. And we'll see later on, we might get some more heels. What do you think, John?
I think we might.
All right. Well, that was your, champion retains. Oh, not only that, but he Pillmanized Evercross. Aaron Williams fucking put Evercross's foot in a chair and then fucking stomped on it. Unbelievable.
He had to be helped to the back.
Yeah, well.
And no one, applauded, him on,
I did.
in support of him. I did, but no one joined me.
Okay. Well, I mean, we were doing it together, John, so.
Fun.
Well, and then after that, did we get the main event? Was this the main event?
We did.
All right, so this was the main event of the evening. And what was the main event of the evening, John?
It was a triple threat tag team doing hood rat shit with my friends match, which meant pretty much anything goes, falls count anywhere, no disqualification.
Did they say falls count anywhere?
Yes.
Really? No kidding. I didn't catch that part.
Falls count anywhere, no disqualification, no count out. Do whatever you want with your friends.
Now, Evil Andy, who was sitting next to us with Jamie Coy, which we didn't even mention Jamie Coy was sitting with us. That's always a joy, you know? And
I love Jamie Coy.
He rules, right? And so, Evil Andy had also bought a birdhouse, and he's like, I don't want my birdhouse to be smashed. So I'm taking out the car, and I was like, that guy is smart. So I took our birdhouses out to the car, because I didn't want them to get smashed either. I mean, Levi worked so hard on them. You know what I mean? He told us. So, it took him some time to do. And so that's pretty cool. And so I took that out, come back in, and we're starting to get our entrances. Awesome Odyssey comes out, and they get Pearl Harbored by the Rejects immediately.
Bunch of bastards.
And we're thinking, well, we got a third team, but Sean rings the bell, and here comes Hysteria coming in, but they waited for a little while. They waited for the Rejects to beat the shit out of Awesome Odyssey before they got involved. So Awesome Odyssey is Chris Copeland and Jack Andrews. The Rejects is, by God, Reed Bentley and John Wayne Murdoch. And Hysteria is
Cole Radrick.
And
Sage Phillips.
Sage Phillips, thank you, John. And, there was this thing going on tonight where all the wrestlers are like, oh, let's put people in the bald guy's lap. What are we doing here?
They all want to be friends with you.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're hoping that if they sit in your lap, you'll put them over.
Is that what it is? They want that road home rub? Sometimes that's a bad thing, John. It depends on where you're at. So, Cole Radrick sat, I believe it was Jack Andrews in my lap and started punching him in the face.
He did.
And then he kissed me on the head.
He did.
What a weirdo.
It was to bring him luck.
I will kill you. I will kill everyone.
Everyone's going to just start kissing your head on the way to the ring.
Well, there's some people I'd be cool with them kissing me on the head. Cole's one of them, I guess. But, it's fine. I'm always rooting for people to kill Cole because that's him getting his shit in, Yeah. So, Cole's a tremendous wrestler. Sage Phillips, tremendous wrestlers. All these guys are awesome. And so this match was all about beating the fucking shit out of Awesome Odyssey to make us think that there's no way they could win, right? I mean, that's kind of, every spot was about killing them.
Yeah, and Awesome Odyssey has essentially been the underdog story since UP1. I wasn't at UP1, but I'm assuming they're still the underdog story since that.
Yeah, they hadn't won a match until this tag team tournament. They lost every single match until the tag team tournament.
And even then, a lot of their wins had been kind of like fluke wins, where they kind of like not no offense, but you kind of snuck victories in a lot of these matches.
That's true. John, what kind of crazy spots do you remember from this match? Because there were so many. We're not going to go through every single one because we can't. We don't have time for it. And because we want you to watch this on IWTV when it's up in like a week or two. I'm going to go back and watch the show this second it's up. I guarantee you, because I want to see birdhouses in the air and I want to see all this shit again because it was so crazy.
I want to see me flicking off Jordan Oliver.
I can't wait to make that gif, huh? That's going to be great. So
some of the fun spots that I remember, there was a spot where Chris Copeland was getting taken out by one of the rejects, and like I look over, like he's getting destroyed, and then all of a sudden I look over, and Jack Andrews is up on top of like the bathrooms, and he just dives off onto all of the other like participants in this match. So like Chris is dying over here, Jack's taking out everyone over there.
What about the double coast to coast? Tell me about that.
So there's another spot where they tied Sage Phillips up into a tree of woe in the corner, and Chris Copeland puts a chair in Sage's face, and they both go on opposite sides of Sage and just leap off and do a double coast to coast to Sage's face.
Destroyed him.
Just destroyed him, and Sean was nice enough to let him down.
Dude, Sean was the MVP of this match, by the way. Sean was passing spots back and forth. He was fucking talking to all the wrestlers, making sure everyone was cool. He was helping set up all these contraptions that they made, holding ladders. I mean, Sean was all over the place in this match. And poor Prophet of Ash, Jeremy, was running around like a maniac, jumping over all this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn. This was pure entertainment. Chris Copeland took a couple ridiculous moves. One of them was just John Wayne Murdoch hitting him with the door like 8 times in the fucking head and then in the knee. Like he just busted his leg with it. Tell me about this tombstone pile driver on the chair deal here.
So I don't know if this was before or after, but at one point Chris Copeland like leg drops somebody on the same chair and like gets the back of the leg on top of the chair. It looks super painful. It honestly looked like he might have been done. But he pulled through, and him and Cole were fighting back and forth. And Cole, out of nowhere, just kind of gets him in a tombstone. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take this a step further. And climbs on top of the chair with Chris still, like, in position. And just drops down and, like, shatters this chair.
That was crazy.
Yes.
I mean, there were so many crazy things. At one point, one of the big spots in the match, too, was Cole and Sean built this like contraption where we had like the ladder bridge, where we had like 2 ladders on one side, 1 on the other, and then a ladder across. And so Cole fights Jack Andrews up there to the top, and then he picks him up and pile drives him through it. And the ladder, usually when that happens on the indies, the ladder like bounces and they like bounce off it. This ladder disintegrated underneath them, and it killed both of them. I mean, it was unbelievable. Wow.
Just bent completely in half.
Wow, what a spot. That was tremendous.
There was another crazy spot where, again, involving Chris. The rejects get him in, what's their finisher?
The Judd Nelson driver.
They hit a Judd Nelson driver through 2 chairs on Chris Copeland.
Unbelievable. I had my hands were on my head for this whole match. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh. You know, that was me this whole match. You know, popping huge, but also just terrified for everyone involved because these guys were just literally trying to kill each other. You know, the rejects were playing the long game, though. They were kind of like sitting on the outside sometimes and letting the other guys beat each other up. In fact, by God, Reed Bentley had a little seat next to you for a while, right?
Yeah, we chatted it up. I said, hey, man, you need a beer? And he said, oh, I had too many before the show. I can't have another one right now. Maybe after. I was like, all right, noted.
And you would note that for the audience as well for what happens after the match. So, you know, we do get a big finish here. Do you remember what the big finish was and everything?
So I remember at one point, Chris Copeland kind of DVDs Sage Phillip off the top of a ladder onto one of the rejects through a door.
Jesus Christ.
And then Jack Andrews does something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but somehow, in all of the confusion, Awesome Odyssey is able to pick up the victory on one of the members of Hysteria, and they're the official first Unsanctioned Pro Tag Team Champions. Awesome Odyssey and the place freaking explodes.
John, I almost started crying. I was on the verge of crying. I'm so happy for those guys.
I was
you know?
recording the whole thing and was like, oh my god, it's happening. Ah!
So happy for them. I mean, they held those titles up, and it means a lot. If you're listening to this and you're not a wrestling fan or you don't get it, those titles, the word title, what does that mean? What does the word title mean? It means, it means something, a name. It means
it's yours.
It's your name. It's who you are. And so the belt represents the title of tag champion. And so these guys have added to their lineage, to their legacy as pro wrestlers by having this title that's been added to their name. They're no longer the Awesome Odyssey. They're now Unsanctioned Pro Tag Team Champions, Awesome Odyssey. And that's what those belts represent. And they also represent all the hard work and all the ridiculous bullshit that those poor guys have gone through. And you can ask them, all right? You don't have to ask me. I'm not going to talk for them. But those guys have put up with a ton of bullshit to get where they are, and it fucking pisses me off, but at the same time, it's not my place to say or do or whatever. And maybe, I don't know as much as I think I do or whatever, but my point is that I am very happy with those guys. I'm happy for them, and I feel like that we all got to go on this journey together, and that's one of the most ultimate fan experiences, as a pro wrestler or a pro wrestling fan. I've seen those guys since they showed up on the scene in pro wrestling. I mean, I've seen them before they were pro wrestlers, when they were just security dudes or whatever. And, this is what happens when you give people a chance. This is what happens, We all underestimate everybody. We think, oh, look at that guy. I don't think he can do this. All right. Well, think about your life. Think about someone you're underestimating in your life, and give them a fucking chance, because this is what happens. Amazing moments like this, and that's what Unsanctioned Pro is all fucking about.
Right? Man. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've been catching Awesome Odyssey from pretty early on in their careers as well. I remember seeing them in just a random triple threat match when they weren't even tagging necessarily together against one of our other guys, Papano Joe. And I remember being super impressed with them, even though it was just not the best match, but it was a good enough match. And then seeing them a couple more times tagging, and then coming to my first UP show, and it's like, holy shit, Awesome Odyssey's here? Awesome. I love those guys because they're fun. They're really good at interacting with the crowd, and they seem like genuinely nice, good dudes. And so I honestly couldn't be more happy for these two winning. And I think after I was talking to them earlier, and they said if they win, this is their first tag team title.
This is a big fucking deal for them.
Their first tag team title win, as a team together.
This is the second time I think they've main evented a show. It's cool, man. This is me and you are older guys or middle aged or whatever you want to call us or whatever. We get to watch young people do amazing things. We don't necessarily get to do the amazing physical things or whatever that we can't do, but maybe we're underestimating ourselves. I don't know. Point is that when you see guys like this that you come to know and love and stuff like that succeed on this level, it's just, I can't wait to see what's next. I'm so happy for them. But you know who wasn't happy for him, John? You know who had sour grapes in their mouth and were fucking pissed? And you handed one of them a beer. What happened?
I handed
there, John?
both of them a beer. This is the bad part. So
Yeah.
I literally, one's walking by, Murdoch, and I'm like, here's a beer, man. And then Reed's in the ring, and I'm like, I roll him a beer, and he hits his thigh, and he's like, oh, okay, sweet. So everybody's celebrating, cheersing together, and then the freaking rejects ruin everyone's night by just leveling Awesome Odyssey and destroying them.
They couldn't do it in the fucking match. They had to wait till these guys were completely worn out to a nub and then fuck them up at the end. And so they stole the belts too. They walked out with the belts. The rejects said, these are your champions, and we're all like, yeah, they fucking just beat you. But they didn't pin them, right? So this triple threat deal is a great way to tell a story, and pro wrestling's the book that never ends. the ending is not the championship win. You know, it continues. And so now the Awesome Odyssey has to defend these titles that they've worked so hard for. The work begins when you become champion. You know what I mean? After they've worked so hard to get it. And that's one of the coolest things about pro wrestling. You know, the story continues, and next we're going to get a title defense versus the Rejects, and we're going to get more of these guys getting murdered in order to protect this amazing thing that they've won. Whew. What a night, John. What a day!
What a day! Yeah.
What a week! You know, this is tonight. This is episode 6 this week, I believe, that we put out. I don't have much of a voice left. We do this for you guys. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. And thank you to everyone at Unsanctioned Pro. We've said it a million times. The place it's lightning in a bottle. They are fucking doing magical shit up there. If you're missing out on this, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know, you know, if you love pro wrestling, if you know, don't go to live shows and you only watch what's on TV and stuff like that, that's fine. Do whatever you want, like what you want, but you're missing out, man. You're missing out on some amazing things, some truly emotional journeys, and an awesome Odyssey.
And if you can't make it, then catch it on IWTV.
You have to watch this on IWTV. You can sign up with Unsanctioned as your promo code, and you get 2 weeks for free, I think. You know, you can watch this shit and cancel if you want or whatever. There's all kinds of great stuff on there. You know, next week we're going to Paradigm Pro Wrestling. They're on there as well. We're going to see Awesome Odyssey there as well. You know, it's a great journey, and like I said, it's an awesome Odyssey, and I'm glad that, John, I'm glad you're here with me to go on it, and I'm glad that everyone out there listening was able to ride in the car with us and on the road home. Anything else, John?
I don't think so. I feel like we really covered all of our bases tonight.
I am exhausted.
Yeah, I just want to get my car and go home.
In the best way.
I have to work in like 8 hours.
Yeah, me
so.
too. Me too, buddy. So, in fact, Will invited us over just via DM a few, you know, on our way home, and you know, I have like 100 messages on my phone or whatever, and I was just like, I mean, like, we can't go, brother. We gotta fucking work in the morning, you know, and that's it, man. That's the life of the road home. It is what it is. We already told you the social media. Please follow us on social media. If you love our show and you love us, you know, buy a t-shirt. We have t-shirts and stuff like that. Or just hit us up. We love any kind of support we can get. If you have feedback for us, please let us know. Please leave us a review on iTunes. Subscribe to us on wherever you found us. And thank you guys so much for listening.
Sayonara.